Hi everyone, welcome back into the classroom. Well, today I'm going to be showing you some of the difference between extender and open medium in painting some flowers. I've been promising this one for a while, so we'll get on it. Oh, also those of you that, watch me paint the bluffs there and do that real quick study, that was about a 90-minute study. That, as I think, there is the big stretch canvas I've made for it. So I am going to go bigger, and I am going to go more panoramic, and I'm going to go a heck of a lot more detail. I'm planning a full day painting on that one. So that one will be coming up here pretty soon. But what I want to do here is work in on this particular one. This is a longer board. You can take it any dimensions. I want this to have a lifting feeling. So anything along, like 18 by 12 or something like that will work kind of nice, give you a little bit longer feeling to the board. And this is just a board. And I had other things on it, and I sanded it down light, and I gave it a quick coat of the canvas prep medium. And then while I was staining a frame for one of the paintings today, I splashed some stuff around here. Anyway, it's all going to cover up because I'm going to put paint on it. I'm a very casual painter. And so I got a couple of reference photos over there. This is from Shutterstock. This one is from Adobe Stock. I'm not going to copy them at all. This is just for me to kind of get some ideas on. But I'm going to show you how to go about working extender, and when I'm going to go from extender to open medium, which are two mediums. So this is a nice little cap of dirty extender medium. This is the open medium, which is made by Matisse Deravan. Now, they manufacture our formula of our paint for us, so we make sure that everything that they make is compatible with everything in our line. It's not compatible with everything, so you have to test, or if you're painting with a different line of acrylics, you have to always ask the company, is it compatible? Okay. So I have my standard U2 colors. Everything that I use, the links are in the video description down below. Okay, you can find it over there. Now I'm adding two colors to it today. This is a mixed blue, which is a sapphire blue. It's Phthalo Blue, ultramarine blue, black and white. So if you don't have it, you can make it that way. It's just an intermediate mixed blue, nice sky blue. And then one of the other colors I really, really like is medium beige, and it is burnt umber, yellow oxide, and white. And so I like these two together because they make beautiful grays. And let's get into it and see. So I'm going to take my large 2-inch brush and extender. I want the background, I'm going to manipulate the background for a little bit, but I want the background to be kind of thin and easy to manipulate, and that's why I use extender. Extender slows down the drying time, so we'll mix it into some of our medium beige here. Okay, and I'm just going to go over this, and I like it to start out a little bit transparent. So I'm going to manipulate the background here to get a nice contemporary look. So, and in doing so, I would like some of the colors, some of the transparency and some of the colors to come through in different amounts. And we'll just poke it up underneath that. So my little clips there to hold that. So I'll give a nice coat of this, over the surface here. I'm going to work in some blues. Add some extender medium to the blues. Now the blues going into the medium beige is going to give us a gray. See how they mix right down here to a beautiful gray. But I want some of it to come out into the blue here as well. So I start up there at the top with the blue, and then I'm going to carry this gray down. Now, when you see this, see how I can do that and move that? That tells you that my colors are thin. And sometimes I'm going to go a little bit of white into that blue, just a little lighter up here, because I like some of that fiery light of the blue. See, aren't those beautiful colors together? And I'm watching that, thinking about, as I'm doing this, I'm thinking about where do I put my flowers? How am I going to work them into here and work my beiges and my blues together here? But sometimes, now that I have this on real thin now, sometimes I get something and it's really pretty and I like it and I'll leave it and let it dry. Other times I work into the wet. And today I'm going to work into the wet. Working into the wet is hard though. Okay, for some of you that aren't experienced at it, it's a little more difficult. So, you know, you might want to let it dry once you start to get a background. Now, I also like this too. So once I start to, you know, to get some of the looks, I like to do this. This is very contemporary, and taking these marks here and adding, you know, I always call it like little sparks and marks here to the background that add an extra little different. Now, you don't have to do this, but I like it. Maybe a little bit of brown through that. I like it. Maybe a touch of that light blue carries over here, right down here. And, you know, leave a few of those little marks. I like that kind of, it just, again, breaks up the background. Lots of stuff. I like to just take days when I'm using up, especially if you're using up a palette, you don't want to waste the colors or anything. Just sit down and play with some backgrounds, and you can always let them dry and do paintings up on top of them. That will always work. Okay, so I'm just going to wipe that brush. If you want to use it later on, just poke a little extender in it and set it to the side, and it's going to work great for you. Okay, now a little bit about something about brushes. So you can use... today you could use a flat or a filbert. I use the filbert like I've explained to you before whenever I'm drawing, if I'm going to do a lot of drawing. And I might do some of that today, so I'm going to put out a filbert. But an 8 or a 10 flat is some of my favorite brushes to paint with when I'm going to do flowers like this. So I'm probably going to start with that. All right, so this is really wet. It's going to stay wet for a while. I'm going to back out, not all of it, but back out a little bit of the color. I kind of like, this is a peach-colored peony opened up, all the way opened up, an older one. So I kind of really like that one. And so maybe I'm not going to put it right into the center. Maybe I might lean it a little bit more than what the peony shows there. And so I'm going to back out, not all the color, but I'm going to back out some of the color and to what about the size of the peony that I want to put up there. And I might want to put, I'm just going to use these for inspiration. So I might want to put another, you know, kind of an open turn rose right there. Maybe one coming down, right back down over here, I think, someplace. Might be kind of fun. And I love those peach colors. So I might carry common colors. Many people might think they'll be the same type of flowers, and we can turn them all into peonies. We can do whatever we want. We don't know yet, so we're going to let the design kind of talk to us as we get going here. All right, so I back that out, that negative. You see me do that before in glazing techniques. You see me, I painted a Rembrandt wipeout technique with it. It works really, really well. It makes it very nice. And we'll come in here with some darks and do some negative painting. I'll explain that a little bit later on. But let's come in to the center here. So one of my favorite colors, the burnt sienna and the pine green. Let's come right into the center of this one. And we'll just use the corner. I'm using the flat. And we'll use the corner and we'll just tap in some of this color here. Green and burnt sienna. Let some of that just kind of model around there. Beautiful peach colors. You have quite a few ways to make beautiful peach colors. And I'll start them out a little deeper. But one of them I really like is the yellow oxide and the quinacridone. So quinacridone and some yellow oxide. And then just a touch of white that makes this beautiful peach colors. So let's put some of these peach colors, not heavy. I'm going to keep this kind of transparent because I want the background to come into some of this color here. And that's going to give us our transparent edges out here, especially out here. Now, you know, we have some, you know, in the reference photo there, the petals are very defined. And we have to decide whether or not we're going to do that much definition or not. Now, as we come in, what I'll do is, and I'm just painting with regular acrylic here right now, and I could add a touch of extender. If it starts to dry on you, if it's warm outside or something, it starts to dry on you, you can add a touch of extender. I want this greenish kind of tone. If you look down into that, you get kind of a greenish tone, which is our pine green. So I'll let some of that pine green come in, especially down here onto the shadow side. And this is what I'm looking to set up, just like I do with wildlife and stuff is I set up this modeling of the colors. That's what I want. Now let's go back, a little bit of extender. So I'm keeping everything kind of thin, so that's why I'm using extender. I am not thickening my colors at all, but I'm using extender to keep my colors kind of thick. I want that to be slightly grayed, so peach color, maybe a touch of the green in it. You can see how that really grays it down here. Gray that down a bit, darken it down here, and we'll push some of that shadow right down in here, some of these larger petals. I'll go more specific to painting the shape a little bit later on, but I want some of this green, maybe a little bit of yellow and white into this green, just to give a slightly different little tone there. And maybe a little bit more burnt sienna out here. See, what I'm looking for is this beautiful modeling of the colors. That's what I want. And so the undertone out here has greens and peaches, and you can see some of the blue coming through sometimes here, you know, and it just looks great. Now we'll build some of the first shape. Now, so with the beautiful petals that you have out here, see, you can get a little light tip. This is normally when you see a real light tip right out there like that. That's normally where I'll just reach up and I'll grab my my filbert brush and do some drawing on it. And I might do that. But I'm going to stick with the flat here for just a bit more. And we'll start a couple of the light petals back up over there. So let's take our peach color. I'll add some white, and I'm going to add some yellow, which will warm it up. Now, I want this to stay open now, and I want to draw. So I'm on a thin color right now. And so on that thin color, what I want to do is draw and put this petal up on top, so I want to keep it thicker. So I won't add extender. I will start to switch over to the thicker open medium, and the open medium will allow me to push the petal right on, because see how much thicker that is right here, see? And I can push the brush out and pull through and get some beautiful color striations in the color here just by tapping it on here and keeping that open medium nice and thick. Keep everything here nice and thick. Let's just pull down. We'll leave that petal there. Let's widen it out a bit and come in through here. That's a pretty little petal coming right in there. And we could put in a little light, maybe a little red and violet over here, and some open medium. This keeps it open. This will keep it wet and thick. We'll make this pretty little pink, a little more pink that I see on that other one. Let's just make a pretty little pink, and see, we can whisper that into some of this peony here as another color right in there. And so everything stays wet. So I can come back here with this color here, and I can just draw a little bit of that light right in there. And we'll put in other strokes and stuff, but I can, you know, leave that or draw that edge. Now I could go over to the filbert and really draw the edge, but the flat will do an okay job of it, and so I like the flat as well. But if you want to, you know, leave edges out there that have a little mark or an edge or light edge, you can do that. And we'll add a bit more light, maybe a bit of this pink. Maybe make this just a bit more pink. Why not? What the heck? Will this reach up, pull through? I love the color variations here. And that's what I'm looking for, is the streaks and the colors and the variations of the tones. Coming right back up here, let's put that more pointed petal up. So we'll come around to one side. We'll pull to the center. I'll redress my brush. See that little bit of white right there? I'll pick it up right onto the corner, and I'll lean right over to that edge, and I'll draw the other petal, the other side, right there. And so that gives a petal that is a little more pointed, like what you'll see up at the top of that one. And we can do that stutter. There's what I call a stutter stroke here on the inside with a little light. Just touch and lift here to leave that mottled inside highlight in there. Let's leave some over here. Let's just touch the light, little open medium. I like the open medium. It's slightly sticky and it causes the paint to kind of stick right where you put it too. So I'll stutter inside of these just a bit here to get some of the striations of color, which really help quite a bit into the interest. Let's tone down. We'll go softer. We'll push on some back. Just movement here of these petals. Just push on some movement here. Everything is still wet. If it's not wet, add a little extender and re-moisten it. Okay? You can add extender and just go through it and re-moisten it. Let's put a little yellow here. Some of these mottled, beautiful mottled colors. Let those colors come in there. Let's go I love Diarylide. Maybe I'll put a little open medium into this Diarylide. I love how Diarylide just opens up and makes a color just sparkle, kind of. This yellows just kind of sparkle, which I like. Now let's we'll come back up over here. We'll pick up a little pink and light. And see, the open medium, you can see my palette here. I'm not working it too much. That's the key, guys. Don't work your palette too much. You'll make the same color, okay? Just model the colors up here. Let's put a little bit of our peach colors here and model them up. A little bit of open medium. Now see, this is what I call model. See how it's not perfect there? I'll pick that up. And I'm going to strike a petal here coming in like that. And I'll leave that. See, I'm just going to leave that like that's another petal sitting up on top there. Right? And I might just pull through and pick up some of this color here. And just strike one or two little petals here just on their edges. Here, see, I can get that color that comes off. Now, that just, you know, it happens there because I didn't mix the color on the palette. So I get striations like that on there. I could never copy that again. You just, you know, put on and you let what happens happen because you can't copy that. Let's put a little bit more shadow. Let's get some of that green, burnt sienna, maybe a touch of our cooler red violet in there, or Quinacridone Violet. Let's get some of that cool color out through here. I love that. Still, so you see as I'm painting this, as the light color gets down into the center, I have to restate the center several times because light colors start to take out because the titanium white I have is so opaque, it'll take out everything. So I have to, every once in a while, you know, add some stuff back in. But let's come over here, open medium into the brush. Pick up a little edge of the light here. And let's look to some marks here. And so then I'll put that mark on. Now I'm going to pull it out so that the color fades out here as I'm heading out this peony this way. So I'm heading to the shadow here. And so I'm just going to let these petals over here stay mostly into the dark. Maybe a touch of the light here coming out. I love this petal on this guy right out here like this. You can pick up a little edge and just draw that little light on there like you see on that one there. And so I just pull around to draw it, and then I can paint up to it like with a little pink and just take out some of that. Maybe a little green, yellow green on my brush and just take out some of that. Maybe a little bit of light onto this one to say, here comes this petal right out here. But on this side of the peony, I may leave these just very transparent over here. And maybe a little bit more pinky red maybe a bit more quinacridone here, right up here. It's a little pinker than what the original, what the sample is there, but I like it, so I'm going to leave it right in there like that. So that's kind of pretty. Now, a spent peony, let's open medium. So I'm painting everything right in here with open medium. Everything out over here and some of the very beginning was extender medium. And the extender medium is thinner. So now as I'm drawing the petals, the open medium is thicker and it's sticking around, if that makes sense. And that's what I want. I like that bigger petal there. Matter of fact, I want to push a little more light into that. Here, I touch and lift a little bit more. Touch and lift off. Here, there, that's pretty. I like that one. And see, you get that basically that spot, that movement of color, that's just really pretty. Now, this one in here has hardly anything going on there, which I kind of like, but I want to have a little bit more shape to the peony over here on the light side. So I'm going to build the petals a bit more here. It's a more opened up, older peony, so it's more open. Doesn't have all the fine little petals that we've painted in all the others together. So I just want to shape up some petals here. I'm going to start doing my own thing too. It's what I like. So I'll start adding some of my own little movements. I love Diarylide. Let's get a little bit of Diarylide in there. I love that little light that comes in there. And we'll move some of that out here. Just see that little Diarylide does little sparks of light. Isn't that pretty? I just love that. Little sparks. And the other one that, you know, the sample has a lot more dark up there. I'm not going to do it. So I just like doing this. All of a sudden, so what happens is I'll start, you know, following something, and then it starts talking to me, and I start doing my thing, and I just love it, you know. So I'm going to add a few other smaller light petals right up in here, maybe right up around the center here, a few other little lights that are just marks here up into here, and move that color around a bit, little open medium into these colors. They're not too mixed up. We'll get a bit more. I love the violets and the peonies, so I'm going to add some. And I'm trying not to mix too much. I'm trying to model these colors on the flower as opposed to on the palette, so that the colors don't mix up quite as much, if that makes sense. So I like that light. But see, it goes real dark here. Let's put some of that in just in case you want to do that. Little green, little yellow, open medium. If you want to cast that shadow down in there, that's how you do it right there. Push that color in and out. And that is kind of pretty. And we'll push that in and out here a bit. But look at all this beautiful color moving in and around the peony there. Let's just take a little lighter yellow. I want a few little light petals. We have all those stamen and stuff to put in, but I want just a few little light petals hitting in here as well. The sparks, little open medium, little light, a little Diarylide and white. Don't mix it up. And let's just touch a little bit of this right around. So I'll add this into the peony. It makes it look even a little bit more like a peony. We might even paint I love the coloring and the opening of that other rose that is over there, but we might paint it more like a peony with some smaller petals. Now, let's take some yellow, some white, not mixed up real well, kind of just model it together. And we'll use just the corner of the brush. Use just a smaller mark there, smaller amount of paint. And maybe a touch of the Hansa into that, right? And we'll just emulate some of these little stamen and stuff here moving through. If you get too many of them, then you can take some of them out with the dark. Okay. A few of them right in there like that. Just the chisel of the brush. And this means that, you know, if they're flattening out too much, then maybe the chisel of your brush is gone. Either go get a new one so you can do this, or you can use like a little liner or a little round or something as well. They will all work. Let's put a little bit of the green. I love that burnt sienna. Touch of violet. Don't mix it up real well. Let's just tap a little bit of that around into here. Push some of that out and around. That's pretty nice. Maybe some yellow oxide and some diarylide. More of a shadow one. And some little marks down here to kind of fill up again, right up in there. That's kind of pretty. Now I'll go through and look. Do I want to step out, a little open medium, little lighter color here. Do I want to step out and lighten up some of these other little petals? See, I got a beautiful modeling there. So I don't want to tap in there too much to mix it up. I don't want to mix it up. I want to preserve that modeling here. There, like that. Here. Just pick that up with your brush and just lay it carefully up on, because that beautiful modeling, just lay it up onto that petal. Let's put a little soft pink right out here, right out into that. That's kind of pretty. We'll extend this one out just a bit. That's kind of pretty. So you can see that. Now, let's go in and paint a little background. I love, you know, one of my favorite backgrounds to start out with in that is the burnt sienna and green. You see me use it all the time. It's a nice neutral. I'm going to add extender now to this. As I go out into the background, I want extender. Now I can use this to negative paint around and add some of the movement that I might want to have here into the background here. But I add extender because I want this thinner. Does that make sense? Thinner. And we can come right out here and we can just add this, and you know, we might add a little bit of the blue and medium beige. I got a lot of it left over there. We might add some of that. That's up to you. And I will do this as well. Negative paint out here like this to leave edges. I'm actually painting out into the background there to make that peony look a little bit more translucent out there. Do you see that? So don't paint up always right next to the edge. You can leave a little bit of the edge open, and that will make the peony look more so, even more so translucent there. There we go. A few little stems right in through there like that. You can do something. And I'm painting with extender now because I don't want, you know, too much going on in these. Peonies have the longer leaves, so we'll do a couple of those. Longer, just twist the brush down and push out a bit. We can put on one. You can take a little green, some yellow oxide, some white, make a lighter. And so if you want to make it look like it turns, you know, a leaf is turning a bit, or it has a bit of a highlight edge to it, you can add a second color tone to it. That works pretty nice. Here, a little red into them to you know, soften them, gray it down a bit. That's up to you. I'm just going to add a few more little marks here and stuff going on, loosen it up. I like that. Now I'm going to do one real soft back here. So I'll thin it out. I'll paint with more thin colors. I'll put some of this green and gray here. We'll turn one to the back here. And we'll do it more of a peony shape. Little softer, so I'm going to gray this all down. Real soft. See how the pink and that green gray down? Because I want this one to sit back behind here. And I'm just going to, I'm not going to have one to look at. We're just going to wing it here. So we put on that outside edge. That gives us kind of the shape right in there where we were drawing it, right? Now, let's come in with a little bit of our burnt sienna, touch of green like we did on the other. We'll push a bit of that color, but softer, into the center like we did the other one. We added some yellows and stuff to the outside here. So we'll add some, maybe a little heavier on this side that is towards the other peony here. Okay. And some of our pinks, pink and red. Now you can paint with a little bit of the open medium, and you can mix open medium and extender together to get a softer color that won't have as much power as the other one. But I'm just going to put on some soft colors here, just like that, okay? And we want some of that to just disappear there, so. And then we'll pick up and just, I'm maybe not as thick, so I'm going to add some some extender to it. So it's not quite as thick. We'll see how this works. And so the whole peony here will be painted softer. Not quite, you can tell the difference between the strokes here. It's softer in its application here. Softer colors. Let's put a bit of the, and if you notice, I paint it faster. When I want something more casual, I paint it faster. And so I go quite fast into this one, because I want this one just to be a whisper of what the other one is. Not a little yellow into that. Not a full, peony. A whisper of what this one is. Because he's down and away. Softer look to it. Maybe a little bit of pinks in there. Softer. A ghost. I always call it a ghost. I can pull some of the petals, but I don't want to create a whole bunch. You see how I have edges and stuff there? Those edges here really bring it all forward. So, and as I'm softening this one out, I don't want those edges in there. So we'll let this one fall away. Maybe a bit, just a bit more yellow right up in here. So we see it, but it's kind of like little ghosts of what the other one is. So everything is softer, right? I could intensify the pink. So I won't add open medium, I'll keep it thin. Intensify the pink right up here by this other one a bit more. There we go. So it does look like they go together. Bit of the green, a little bit of the green helps gray that, stays nice, soft. We go. Let's take some yellow oxide and we'll just stipple up the center here a bit. Yellow oxide, none of the real bright colors, just the yellow oxides and stuff, because those are, because it's softer, right? Maybe we can go a little lighter though. We can add some lights here to the opening of it, some here. But, I'm always referencing back to what's happening in my main one here, watching what's happening and making sure that the main one here is staying right where I want it as the center of interest here. Let's take a bit of that pink, put that in, softer, our burnt sienna and the green here coming out just a bit more. And I want to restate a couple of the stamen here with some yellow oxide. But most of this back here, it just stays a blur of the colors here. Just a blur of the colors. Not the dominant shapes that the edges. See all the edges? That's what gives that one the dominant shape. All right, so this one stays softer. Now, I could pick up a little bit more of an edge, like right in here, and bring this edge right up by the front of that one here, just like that. So it does look like it lifts up, but then it just fades away, softer, fades away. Some of the green and the pink like this right down here. Let this just fade away down here, soft. Let the green take over and fade away. And if I want to see this a little bit more, let's go to a negative painting. Don't go add light. Stay out of the light. Let's thin this, some of our negative painting here. But thin it out and add some color back here through the background, and that will lift it off. Does that make sense? Rather than adding white, we don't want to add white down here. So we'll just let some of this come down. Some of this is a nice little edge, like right here. See that shadow, that edge of that shadow. Even leave a little space, a little transparency there. Taking a slightly larger brush, a little extender, you can pull that down to thin that out here, soften it out, and see it just gets a little bit of that color there. That's kind of neat. Maybe a bit to burnt sienna and the green here. And just let some of that just pull out, like there's a couple of long peony leaves there. Blur them out a bit there. Soft. And then when I look at that and I say, yeah, that's pretty good, I could have maybe a little bit more green right out here to help with the transparency and that peony just kind of falling down into its softness there. You could bring up the light a little bit more. It's a balance. It becomes a balancing act of, your colors, and everything stays softer down here, right? So I'm going to pick up a little more pink, maybe edge, and a tiny bit more white, and that's a little too bright. What do you add to it? A bit of the green and yellow here. I'm going to just bring up some of that outside red there. I love that pink that hits that one. And I want to intensify that in a couple of little spots here. And maybe just a tiny bit of it shows up onto this one, so you get this color traveling through. So that's good. That looks pretty good on that one. So let's go back up and we'll make one. We'll turn it kind of like that other flower there, but we'll paint it as a peony. So let's go back to the thin color of the extender. We might paint heavier forward petals and go back into the open medium. Anytime that I want heavier petals, like I did through here, I use the open medium. It is thicker, causes the paint to build up more and stick right where I want it. So you can see you can get a heck of a lot more interest onto that with that open medium. I might, even while I have that here, let's take some of that peach color and the open medium and the light, and let's just build a little bit more light. That's pretty. A bit more yellow. See, that open medium slides. I can slide that color in and out of there. And what this does, by doing this, adding this other little petal here, that's going to allow me to add more to my next layer of the flowers, or this other flower up here, and do a little bit more, because this one now has a little bit more. Does that make sense? So yeah, just a little bit more contrast into it here. There, and see, you can just pick up that nice thick paint. It's modeled on the brush and just pull some of that out. Get that little whisper of color, those nice little edges there. Here, let's put this one out just a bit. Sorry, put my head right there in front of it. And there we go. Just build that up. I always and see, that allows me, if I wanted to build that one up a bit more. But see, I always like to go back, and I tell you guys this all the time. Get back over to your queen, the big one, and reset some of the colors on it. And, you know, get some of those lights and some of those other colors and stuff in there. Look at how that one just jumps now off this surface here. And we'll push some of that right in here. Nice little petal. That's pretty good. And so I love that edge. And you've seen me use this edge before. This is the petal edging technique. I do it with a filbert. I do it with a soft flat like this. And it just works. Now on that one, it has a big turned up petal. And you can do that as well. Yeah, it all works. Lots of different ways. And you can see, oh, you could draw a big bouquet of these with them turned, the petals and stuff turning in all different kinds of directions. Really pretty. Yeah. I'm going to lighten a bit of that. Just boom. Bit more. Heavier touch of that open medium in there. That'll cause it to stick. See how it just sticks right there. That open medium, I just love it. Doesn't slide as much as the extender. So now I picked up a little bit of that pink that has the extender in it. A little thinner, and I can just use that to lightly add some streaky variation to the center part of that peony here. Just pulling out light. And see, it won't overtake too much of the petal because the white that I just highlighted with is thicker in texture than what I'm just doing now, which is a little thinner. So it's just going to take a bit of it off. So there you go. That's pretty. Let's take a bit of our yellow, burnt sienna, and a tiny bit of green. Thin it out with a bit of extender here. A little bit more green. A little bit of extender. So the color is thinner, and it won't take out the highlights that I put on, but it'll allow me to pull some of this other color out. Here. There we go. And that's the ticket. That's what you want is, and let's put a touch of the Diarylide here. A few little stamen there. That's the whole thing is you don't want to take out. So if you're putting on a weaker color, like I was just coming on with this shadow, and that shadow is thinner in consistency than the white that I just put on the petal, the shadow won't be able to take out the white as easy. Does that make sense? Everything comes down to, you know, if you're going to paint the beautiful roses and flowers and stuff, everything comes down to the consistency of the paint. Just like I told you, there's some cloud videos on the channel. You go watch those cloud videos. I put the sky on really thin, and then I come back and I put those clouds on. And, you know, like I may put the shadow of the cloud on a little thinner, but then the light of the cloud, I put it on thicker and streak down through. And the light of the cloud stays, and it can travel across things and give you that translucency to the clouds. Works really, really well. And that is because you're playing with the consistencies of it. Okay, let's get our burnt sienna and some green and a little bit of extender medium, and we'll come right in here and we'll put in, like, where's the center of this peony going to be here, right? There we go. Let's put in a a little bit more peach. And I'm putting this all in with extender because I want it to be thin. Does that make sense? This isn't the thicker light petals. I'm going to probably put a thicker light petal up front, but I want this one turned to the back here. Okay, maybe at the base of it up here, a little green, where we're going to have the calyx of this peony right down there. Let's take a little bit of our burnt sienna and some green here, right where that stem would come right in there. And I just take I really like burnt sienna into the stems there, so I like that. That's kind of neat. And so you can toss a couple of peony leaves up there if you want, but normally they don't travel out too far. But you can do that if you want. I do like this edge sitting out there. You could probably edge a little bit cleaner. Matter of fact, let me do that while that's going to stay wet. It's not going to go anywhere. If I see something, sometimes I like to go do it because I'll forget about it. So I'm just going to come back here, add a little open medium to my white, and just pick up a little thin pink here. And I'm going to redraw this edge a bit more right out here. So this top edge of this peony here stands out a touch more against that light, where that light is. Let's just soften that just a bit. Just a bit of a whisper. There. That's better. I kind of like that. A softer little pink back here, maybe. Yeah. See, I love those little color spots like this came out there. Sometimes they come out on accident. And then sometimes you spend all day trying to make an accident happen, you know. Yeah, it's just, oh, I like that. There, that's pretty little color in there. Here we go. Maybe a bit of that right out in here. See, but it doesn't take out all the white because it's thinner. Okay, so now let's come back up here. Let's actually add some open medium. So I'll make some thicker, lighter, a little bit of Diarylide here, petals, right up into the front. And this will bring, see how they stand up really easy? That's because of the open medium is thicker. So we'll just pull down here, and I'll lift off and let the shadow that I have there already take over. Because I lift the pressure on the brush, because that thinner shadow with the extender will then take over. If I kept pushing down, the white will take it out all the way because the white is thicker. It has open medium in it. Does that make sense? Okay. Let's add a lighter petal right up in front of that, so I'll add some open medium. And let's add a lighter petal right here. And that's going to be a lot of paint to pull down, so I'm going to stop and I'll wipe my brush like this, maybe put in some thinner paint with the extender so it has not as much power, and lift off to the light and push that shadow, that pinky shadow in there. But it won't take off all the light because it's too thin to do that, if that makes sense. Okay. Let's add a touch of the light back here, not too much, just a ghost of it back here. Just enough to say, yeah, we did a little bit here. Let some of the shadow take off there. And that's pretty good. A little open medium, softer white, down to the gray down here. Let's just get some softer light. The open medium just strokes on so smooth, but allows you, if you use a lot of it, it allows you to have some of that transparency that's really pretty. We'll pick out a bit of that light. That's kind of nice. Let's get a bit of red and violet and a touch of the green and stuff in here. We can use that as this deeper shadow here, and actually push back some of this part of the peony here. There. I love that drooping darker petal back there, but I just don't think I have that much room to do all of that over here. But I do like that drooping darker petal. Maybe I could do a little bit. Burnt sienna, a little green, which will tone it, and a little violet here. A little burnt sienna and violet, a little too much green there. That's kind of pretty color. And let that kind of pick up on that side there. And then let's, I don't really want much power, so I'm not going to use open medium. I'm going to go back to my light pink so it stays soft. See how soft that is? So I use the extender so it stays soft, not the open medium. So there's a difference, right? And the open medium allows you to get more thick color. So here, let's take a little bit of our reds, nice pink. Let's add some open medium to it, which keeps the color thick. Add a little bit of white. The color is very thick. And we can use that right up front here for the front, and a little bit of that pink color from the other peonies right in there like that. Let's pick up a tiny bit of white on the edge and draw this light petal down here. Here, like that. There we go. That's kind of pretty, puts that in. Let's soften this back here. Just run through it a bit. There we go. And that'll be just a nice turned little peony there. And then we can come in, and again, I'll go back to some green, some burnt sienna, and some extender, because I don't need the color too thick. And I can come in and do a little bit more manipulation of the background. We could go to a darker blue and brown as well, the medium beige. Darker blue and medium beige. You can kick out some leaves here. You can just give some ideas. Maybe a little ghost, thin with extender medium here. Little idea of thin little leaves right out there like that. Ghost leaves, right? Ghost leaves, ghost colors. Here, they don't need a ton of stuff there. Little ghost, maybe a little ghost here. That again helps with redefines like that. That just helps redefine a tiny little edge there. Let's pick up just a little heavier color here and drop that right into here, which will streak through this bottom a bit here and allow me to pop this peony up a little bit. Some of this is going down a little more than I want, so I'm going to bring back up some of my pinky grade with some of the pink color and a little bit of green, and we'll just put in those petals real soft. Extender, no open medium. Keep them soft, softer. Here we go, just a bit of that light. Let's put a little bit of the pink in there. That's better. And just even a soft little grade, kind of half a light here will just soft. Grade colors, grade colors. Here we go. Maybe a few more little sparky lights right there to help turn that one a bit. That's kind of pretty. Yeah, and I like the spark of the, like right in here, the spark of that color. Maybe a little more of a spark right up here by this side of this one. Then we'll let this whole thing just fade out there, and that'll be kind of pretty. There with that. Now, you can, you know, put in some lights, some other little colors, pull some lights, pull some colors through here. I like the softness of the background on this one, the softness of the flowers. Our job is to do all different kinds of ones, right? You could pull some of the pinks through to the background, very, very contemporary if you want to do something like that. Let's just take a look, take a bigger brush, some of our soft pinks, some extender, soft pinks, soft pinks, and whisper. Just whisper this color so you pick it up a bit into the background. Not a lot, not heavy, not a lot. You just pick this up. So, you know, what the viewer might be seeing is the idea of other peonies or something back up over here, see, through the background. So if you look at them like right now, it's like, boom, there they are, 1, 2, 3. And so you take some of the, if that happens, you take some of this color, just whisper it out through here, and in just real ghost shapes, and it'll start looking like, and I'm using a big brush, extender, and it'll start looking like, oh, there's another peony out over there or something. A little yellow oxide, some white, some pink here. Soften this out, maybe a little burnt sienna. You don't want it bright, so a little green. Nice ghost colors, not very bright. You can have it a little bit, but not too much. Here. Maybe there's another one back that you're just picking up the color. Does that make sense? Just the whisper of the color back through here. Yep. Here, something else going on there. I always like one like right over here too. Maybe there's one right in there. We'll bring it forward just a touch. A little bud or something right in there, see? Doesn't have to take that much. What is that, a bud? It could be anything back there. Soft. Here. Right? Yeah. And at some point in time, you do have to stop, but it's kind of nice to just put some of that color out there. We'll stop with that brush here for a minute and go back to this one, to some of this softer green, and push that up like that's acrylics or something there, back there. Fun. It's a fun way to paint and create here. Get some of that. Get some of these ideas here. What is that out there? Just a soft little one. Maybe it's a little bud or something. Whoops, open medium. Don't want too thick. There, like that. There you go. And I kind of made a ring right around that, so I'm going to add just a little bit more pink to this, a little green and pink and soft, and pull it right up to the edge of this one. So it doesn't have, so you see one going right into the other. It's not a ring around it. And then I think I'm going to call it here. Here we go, just like that. Kind of pretty. Yeah, so see, just adding those other things just kind of moves your eye. Instead of it being sterile, boom, 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 those other colors move out, and that's the impressionism of it that I just love. You know, painting the impressionism of it as well. So anyway, there you go, okay? I hope you enjoyed it. So whenever you want it to stand out, like the front of a peony, front of the rose, you can paint with that open medium, and that keeps your colors thicker. So it's a matter of consistency, guys, thin versus thick. And you use that thicker color and step up into the front. Into those backgrounds, like the base of the sky, you know, or here into the background and some of the back leaves and some of the shadow colors, you know, use it a little bit thinner. Then add the open medium to keep it thicker. Both of them will slow down the drying time of the paint. Just one allows your paint to stay thicker so that you can do drawing techniques and keep it thicker and stuff, okay? All right, there you go. Thanks very much. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. You should be doing that. And hit that little bell so that you know when we release videos. So I'm doing this one. I'm going to go do a landscape, and we have some more animal portraits, wildlife, and westerns to do as well. And I'm going to do that big one. But make sure that you hit that bell so that you know when I release those videos. And I want to go through that again. I've had a lot of people that really like that cloud video of how I did those clouds, and so I want to do a real quick cloud video with you too, with the extenders and the open mediums again, so you can hear it a slightly different way and show you how to create beautiful clouds really quickly by the consistency of your paint, okay? All right, guys. And don't forget to write a comment down there too. Click the like on it, write a comment, and because we all read them and we really, really enjoy it. And we really thank you especially to our membership that you know, pays the little monthly membership. You're the ones that support this channel and keep this channel going, and we thank you very much for doing that. Okay, all right, guys. I'll see you on the next one.